Triple H and Nick Khan have done the impossible. After 10 years away from the company, CM Punk, yes, you heard me right, CM Punk that walked out on WWE back in 2014 is back in WWE at the end of Survivor Series. Oh my God. We're going to talk about it because I'm at the Misfit. This is the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. And you know the deal. Like, subscribe, comment down below. YouTube.com/@Misfit Wrestling Podcast. The audio outlets, which is as followed: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Audible, and Pandora. You can also follow the Twitter @PileDriverPulse and Instagram, which is @Misfit Wrestling Pod. I'm speechless right now. For a couple of weeks now, was under the impression that, it's not going to happen. I don't care anymore. Triple H played the media. It's what he did. They told the media for weeks that this was not happening because they told, and media was told he told media that nobody else knows about it, or not know. Rather, nobody. He told people backstage that this was not happening, and it happened. This deal was not done until today. And we're going to talk about it here. We're going to go through CM Punk here because this is from Fightful Select. They do great work out there. Sean admitted he was wrong. So, because again, he was just reporting what he was told, and he was told that this wasn't happening because that's what Triple H told the company. Well, Triple H and the company and Nick Khan said, well, so here is what, well, first of all, PW Inside put out a report about CM Punk, and we're going to go over the CM Punk one here. I have to go to the Twitter because I unfortunately don't have access right now to PW Insider Elite here, but PW Insider put out once the deal, the ice was broken between CM Punk and WWE. The deal came together rather quickly. It's been seen as by the WWE side as a new beginning based on what was inferred. The two sides actually came on terms officially at some point today. There's some other stuff here. The deal between Punk and WWE is believed to be several years in length, whatever that means. And the company and Punk had their first communication over the last week. There was another thing here I was trying to read here. I'm trying to see if I can find it here. Here we go. One source from the PW Insider noted that there was thought to put into holding CM Punk's return until the Royal Rumble, but the feeling is that the longer they waited to unveil Punk, the more likely the word would spread within WWE about the plans to bring back CM Punk, leading to a far more likely chance of those plans leaking out. Because this did not leak out at all. So here is what Fightful Select had put here. Fightful Select said, CM Punk is returned to WWE to the shock of many, even within the company. Punk returned at Survivor Series at the end of the show in a closely guarded, quickly put together secret. Fightful was told as on November 19th that CM Punk and Triple H had a productive 1 hour-long conversation that mended fences between the two. Word from CM Punk's side of that conversation reflected that of what Triple H said at the post-press conference. Fightful posted in their Punk FQ&A that Punk had claimed that there were some conversations. Triple H confirmed previous reports that talks had not happened between the two sides until it was heavily died down. until the rumors were heavily dialed down, which is actually a smart thing to do, and it didn't look like it was a deal. A deal was happening. At the post presser, Triple H said that any reports of a deal prior were purely speculation, which is true, and that it came together very quickly. WWE confirmed the official agreement happened today, and sources near Punk claimed that as of Saturday morning, no contract was signed. Punk told select people close to him that the return was happening. Minutes before Punk appeared, a section of backstage was cleared out, and Punk was seen in plain sight. We're told that Triple H took over producing the show himself at that point, called for the copyright graphic to pop up, and then personally called for CM Punk's Cult of Personality music to hit per Corey Brennan of Fightful. Producers, referees, staff, talent, and even head writers on the creative team were not told about CM Punk's involvement in the show. Corey Brennan of Fightful had heard word that Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, Michael Hayes needed to discuss a change to the main event, but weren't told specifically if it was Punk related. And it turned out that was the case as it pertains to the main event. Talent being upset, and numerous talent on the roster in general upset, just as there were some excited and curious and about even every emotion you can think of. Talent were pulled aside before WarGames and told that CM Punk would be returning at the conclusion of the show, or before the WarGames match, which is the babyface match. At least one talent claimed legitimately to be upset at by the return of Punk. Both Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins look visibly upset. We haven't confirmed whether or not those were actual reactions, but they were at least claimed to be for obvious reasons. Seth Rollins had to be restrained by Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and others. Drew McIntyre was said to be visibly upset backstage, leaving the venue, and it was not confirmed whether or not McIntyre's situation was related to CM Punk. WWE reiterated that any perceived reference from the likes of Shinsuke Nakamura or on commentary were not the knowledge that this deal was in place. There was one top talent that told Fightful that they understood the surprise aspect of the situation, but felt like Triple H could lose some trust among people that he worked to build with. So we'll see what happens here, but this is insane. CM Punk back in the WWE. This is insane here. We're gonna read the. So I'm trying to figure out. There was a report that came out about PW. I'm trying to find it here. I'm trying to find it here. There was a report about two people, I guess, almost confront. Oh, here we go. So here, all right. So PW Insider put out that CM Punk, obviously Seth Rollins, was held back from confronting CM Punk. That's one name, and then I don't know who the other people. Who was? It doesn't say who the other person was. So it doesn't right now. It's this top WWE star. So it was just Seth Rollins here that was visibly upset, cursing "fuck you," throwing middle fingers at Punk, and is held back by Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and people like Cody and Sami Zayn. But other than that, like, I don't know. This is insane. Like, so, well, it's good to know that they told the talent before the match took place that this was happening. So, I'm intrigued to see where this is going. I mean, I still can't believe. I can't believe this happened. Like, this is something like This is one of those things where you like have to see it. I'll see it when to believe it. I'll believe it when I see it or things here. But it's crazy. We'll find out more about the Drew McIntyre stuff a little at some point here. So good thing they left the Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, this show overall, outside, we're going to put the CM Punk stuff aside here. I thought this show was absolutely good. It was absolutely incredible. I thought it was a phenomenal show. The 2 WarGames matches killed it. The Miz Gunther match was actually a lot of fun. Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar had a great match. The only downside of the show I thought was the women's championship match between Rhea and Zoey Stark. It was okay, but it wasn't like my favorite type of match on the show. But we're gonna go over it here. We're gonna talk about. Where's that? Here we go. We're gonna open that up here. We're gonna start with Damage Control. I didn't care for the outcome of this match, but we'll see where it leads to here. We got Damage Control, which is Asuka, Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and Bayley taking on Shotzi, Charlotte, Becky, and Bianca Belair. Becky and Bayley are the ones who started off the match here. We go through 5 minutes of time. Apparently, somehow the babyface team got the advantage here, which didn't make a lot of sense to me. But Dakota Kai eventually did appear at ringside here. She helped Bayley out with a kendo stick here. Shotzi then entered the match here to help the advantage here with the babyface here. She connected with a crossbody onto Bayley, set up chairs in the middle of the ring here. She leaped into Bayley and all that stuff here. All that stuff, normal stuff you would see with Shotzi here. Io Sky, the WWE Women's Champion, enters the ring. Crowd pops for this because Io's great. She enters with a steel chain, which we were trying to figure out what the fuck is she going to do with it. Which she used it multiple times on an opponent, wrapped it around Shotzi to throw her across the ring. She then jumps to the ropes, both ropes, to do a beautiful missile drop kick. Io's missile drop kicks are just beautiful. Taking down both Becky and Shotzi. She works with Bayley to hit a double suplex onto Becky. Bianca then hits the ring next for her team. She starts unloading on opponents with her hair as a weapon. Drops Io face first into a trash can. She blocks Bayley's attempt to use a chair. And that stuff. Kairi gets in the ring. She takes her sweet ass time. I love this. Is probably one of my favorite memes of the night. GIFs is Kairi getting out and she's just happily skipping along to the ring, which I thought was hilariously funny. She grabs a trash can lid out, which people booed for. That came back to haunt the fans because she used it for a badass reason. And I'll talk about that in just a little bit here. So Io, at this point here, she then decides to scale the top of the cage. She had the chain that she brought to the ring. She drops down the chain. Dakota, who's out there, hooks us to a trash can. And I'm like, she's going to do that spot she did in 2020, isn't she? But in front of fans. And then she put the trash can on her head, and that's the dive that she did at WarGames in 2020. And the crowd popped for it because Io Shirai is fantastic. Io Shirai is the queen of WarGames after tonight. I'll talk about that in a second here. Asuka then enters the ring here with a pair of kendo sticks. Brings in a table, which, Asuka's going to please the crowd. Of course she is. Crowd was chanting for the tables and all that stuff here. Near the other back here. Both women here were at some point where I believe Charlotte and Becky were having finishers locked in. Bayley breaks up one with an elbow drop. Kairi comes off the top rope with the I would try to hit the with the insane elbow, but Becky catches her, hits and puts her in the armor. Eventually, Bayley was able to break stuff up here. She hits a rose plant to Becky, then hits a sliced bread gets hit by a sliced bread by Shotzi. Asuka tries to miss Shotzi but avoids that. Bianca sprays Asuka with his fire extinguisher. They set up a table, and then Bayley each get hits with the finishers here, and then Becky sends Bayley into the table with a manhandle slam, and Team Belair gets the win here. I wasn't a fan of that idea, but I'm more open to it to see where it's going here, because maybe they won't turn on her yet, because through this match, Bayley was trying her damnedest to get the approval of Io Shirai by saving the match multiple times here. So we'll see what happens there come Friday on SmackDown. Gunther. Well, we saw the return of R-Truth as well. R-Truth was backstage doing that little Ruffles ad here. Afterwards, good to see R-Truth back. Big return, R-Truth. Gunther defeated The Miz to retain the Intercontinental Championship. This match was actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be here. At one point, The Miz delivered his classic ick kicks, as they call it, started taking the fight to Gunther. At one point, he actually hits the skull crushing finale, but it gets a damn near fall there. Gunther then eventually was able to hit some moves here, and then was put the Boss of Crab onto The Miz, and Miz was able to tap out, and Gunther is still your Intercontinental Champion. Dragon Lee, Santos Escobar. This was a lot of fun, though I wish they would have done more with it. I hope they run this match back, because I feel like there's more juice in the tank between these two in a match or whatnot here. So Santos Escobar gets the jump early on in the match. Dragon Lee, by attacking Dragon Lee straight away, dropping the Masked Man face first on his knee, or back first into his knee, doing the tilt-a-war backbreaker. He hangs Lee in the trio of woe before connecting with a drop kick, adding further damage. Escobar then takes things to the outside as he tries to do the same thing that he did to Rey Mysterio with the steel steps, but Dragon Lee got out of it, hits the super kick on the ring apron. Dragon Lee then launches himself off the top rope to wipe out Santos Escobar, following it with a running knee back to keep him inside inside the ring. That's what I'm trying to say here. Gaining a near fall, Dragon Lee heads to the top turnbuckle, but gets caught with a kick to the face. Escobar connects with a Hurricanrana that only gets him a near fall. Escobar tries to rip off the mask, which then that ends up getting boozed down from the Chicago faithful, calling "fuck you, Santos" and all that stuff. Followed that up by stomping at him, just stomping on Dragon Lee and all that stuff here. They brought up to the top turnbuckle. Dragon Lee fights Escobar down so he can hit a stomp from the top turnbuckle, but he then runs into a huge super kick. The two go back and forth again, with Lee coming up off the top rope with a sit-out power bomb, but Escobar kicks out with the pinfall attempt. Escobar follows it up with a beautiful destroyer, then immediately hits the Phantom Driver for the win. Santos Escobar obviously should have got the win, and he did, building up his heel run for his eventual match with Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, which I'm presuming is the WrestleMania match. Because after that, I'm more convinced about the two WrestleMania. At least I'm convinced at least 4 of the WrestleMania matches are going to be come April in Philadelphia, and I'll talk about that at the end of the review here. But another great showing for Dragon Lee here. I'm glad Dragon Lee is getting time to shine here. He's fantastic. I'm so glad that Triple H is all in on Dragon Lee. So good stuff there. Santos Escobar is a fantastic heel. He should have never been turned babyface, in my opinion, because that babyface run was not working. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Santos Escobar coming next out of this match. Hopefully another one. Maybe on SmackDown, a future SmackDown because I think they're going to be in Madison Square Garden in a couple weeks, either this month or next month, and they can do that match again. So, Rhea Ripley defeated Zoey Stark to retain the Women's World Championship. This match was all right. Nothing too thrilled about. It was all right here. Rhea Ripley over as always here. But I'm just going to skip right to the ending of the match here. Rhea places Zoey on top of the turnbuckle, on the top turnbuckle rather, as the two women then start brawling to gain the advantage as Rhea launches Stark off the top rope. However, Zoey was able to respond with a super kick. She gets a near fall. I almost said a real fall. Zoey then hits a miss with drop kick. Misses the drop kick. Sorry, not a kick, not a drop kick. Just misses a kick. Gets rolled up, which the champion was able to kick out. Follows that up with a big kick of her own. Rhea then slams Stark down to the mat with a Northern Lights suplex. That was enough to get the win here. Stark demanded more from Rhea, and then counters with the German suplex, which actually looked pretty nice. She tries to hit a Z's 360, but Rhea counters. It hits a headbutt, and then the Riptide for the win here, sending Rhea on a path to WrestleMania for Becky Lynch, and possibly her next challenger. Seems to be the way they're presenting it on television. Looks probably going to be Shayna Baszler, which I would hold that off to the Royal Rumble. So that main event: Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and Randy Orton defeated the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre in WarGames. So Seth Rollins and JD McDonough. Seth Rollins, was it JD McDonough? No, Seth Rollins and Finn Balor that started off WarGames here. The Judgment Day got the team advantage on Monday Night Raw when Drew McIntyre defeated Jey Uso here. So JD McDonough ends up being the second guy coming in here. They start ganging up on Rollins. Then Jey Uso makes his way down to the ring here with a chair, attacking both McDonough and Balor, but gets stopped in his tracks with a Spanish Fly. By Spanish Fly, Rollins works with Jey Uso to hit a pair of double super kicks to swing the momentum into their favor. Drew McIntyre tries to enter next, but Priest stops him and says, let's stick to the plan here. Whatever that plan was. We found out what the plan was a little bit later on, but we'll talk about it in a second here. Judgment Day begins to take control using weapons to their advantage. Sammy then enters the situation here, who was the winner of last year's WarGames with Jey Uso. Slams the door onto Balor's head, uses the kendo stick on JD McDonough, pulls out a table to introduce the table, put it in the ring here as Rollins and Jey grabbed it. And then he uses a steel pipe to attack his rivals as they slow the pace down. But Drew then enters the match, dumps Rollins to the mat, throws Sammy across the ring, and all that stuff happened here. Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre go back and forth because this whole story here. The only reason why Drew McIntyre joined the match with Judgment Day for WarGames, so he can get his hands on Jey Uso. But McIntyre was able to win with a neck breaker. McIntyre looks for a Claymore kick, but instead it's a super kick and then a 1D from Jey assisting with Sammy. Cody then enters the match here. He immediately takes the fight to Priest and McDonough, with Bayley then getting dropped onto McDonough. Cody pulls out a bull rope, but Rollins grabs it as they tease a fallout. But instead, they work together with using the bull rope onto, Balor and McDonough here. Listen, Cody, you're not going to have Cody in a WarGame match and not have a bull rope involved here. Cody, by the way, was supposed to be in the very first Blood and Guts match before COVID happened, which was supposed to be the Elite versus the Inner Circle, and that match got canceled because of COVID. So Cody never got to do the WarGames match in AEW, but he's doing it here. And it's going to be get to call WarGames. He did get to do the moonsault from the top of the cage, which I'm a little upset about that, but you know. Dominic enters the ring with massive boos here. And then Dominic starts getting his ass whooped by the babyface team here. So then the table gets set up. Judgment Day ends up having all that stuff here. We can see Rollins get hit with a razor's edge through a table. Rhea Ripley's music hits because we're supposed to be waiting on Randy Orton. She comes out with a briefcase. Rhea is about to cash in for JD, not JD, for Damian, which this is the plan. But then Randy Orton's music hits. He comes out here. He's dropping fools left or right. He drops Dominic with several clotheslines and a scoot slam. Then he drops Balor with a drape DDT. He and McIntyre stare down each other, but Priest starts jumping Randy, and they start going, beating up Randy Orton. So all that stuff happened there. Dominic Mysterio then ends up eating the first RKO in 19 months. A stomp, a splash, and a hell kick to all connected onto fucking Mysterio. He's out of it here. JD McDonough attempts to run up the cage, but Rollins is saying to follow him, and Orton's positioning himself. McDonough gets thrown off the cage, lands straight into an RKO, which looks beautiful, and then Cody delivers a crossroads to Damian Priest to get the win, and Team Rhodes gets the win here. So I thought both WarGames matches killed it. I thought Miz and Gunther was actually very, very good. So was Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar. Rhea and Zoey was okay, but it was the weakest thing on the show. It wasn't bad, but it was okay, but it was also just the weakest thing on the show. So, as they're going off the air, they do the fucking Triple H and his fucking NXT self. You remember the thing that started at fucking, what was it, NXT TakeOver? The one where funny enough that this whole lower third copyright fake out in WWE started in NXT with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, because now I'm expecting it a lot more often, and he fucking did it here, because when they were going to they brought the copyright. Michael Cole was still talking. We've seen the camera pan out, and then all of a sudden you hear the static, and then you hear Cult of Personality hit. The fucking place in Allstate Arena went absolutely goddamn crazy. CM Punk walks out to the ring while Seth Rollins wants to kill the man, and the crowd losing their mind. He looks so much happier to be back in WWE than he did in AEW. He's then saying it's clobbering time. CM Punk is back in WWE. This show, I thought, was absolutely fantastic. This was outstanding. This was one of WWE's best pay-per-views of the year. Like, from top to bottom, you had the two WarGames matches killed it. The Miz and Gunther match was surprisingly very good. Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar, there's so much more they can do with them in the ring, and I can't wait to see that again. Zoey Stark is still not connecting with the fans, but she had an okay match with Rhea. And then CM Punk coming back was just with Randy Orton. So Randy Orton came back. That was great. He looks fantastic. And then the icing on the cake was the surprise return of CM Punk that nobody thought was going to happen. So overall, again, Survivor Series, I thought was a great show. Now the four big matches, I think, are now at this point either a lock or is going to be a lock for WrestleMania. Obviously, one of the big matches is Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns Part 2 for the Universal Championship in the main event of Night 2. That I'm almost 100% sure is going to be taking place. The other championship match, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch. They kept Becky Lynch away from Rhea Ripley since the time that they teased that match. They teased it only twice here under the Triple H regime. But it's very more likely it's going to be Becky and Rhea at WrestleMania. Another big match that seems to be taking place is Bayley and Io Shirai, Io Sky, possibly for the Women's Champion. But I hope to God that's the direction they're going to go with. And then after tonight, I'm more than confident now that the match for Seth Rollins is not Gunther at WrestleMania. It's now looking more likely to be Seth Rollins versus CM Punk at WrestleMania. I still can't believe I just said that coming out of my mouth. CM Punk is back. Monday Night Raw is going to be very, very interesting. This might be the most watched Monday Night Raw in many, many years. Thanks to one Phil Brooks. The fact that we're going to go into the Royal Rumble not next month, but in January, knowing that we don't have to worry about whether or not CM Punk is going to be on the show. He's going to be at Royal Rumble. He's going to be at WrestleMania. He's going to be at the Elimination Chamber in Australia. He's going to be at Backlash in Paris. He's going to be in Berlin for Bash in Berlin. He's going to be at SummerSlam next year. He's going to be at Survivor Series next year. He's going to be at Money in the Bank next year as well. He's going to be at all these shows. Whether or not he's a full-time performer or he's a part-timer, we're going to find that out. We don't know very much. No, his contract. We know he's signed with the company. He's supposedly going to be a part of the Raw brand going forward, but we don't know like the whether or not he's a part-time talent like Logan Paul and Roman Reigns and John Cena, or if he's going to be full-timer like Rollins and McIntyre and them. So that is remain to be seen, but we'll hopefully find out that information by either tomorrow or Monday Night Raw. I hope we get that information for Sunday's podcast because I cannot wait to talk more about CM Punk because I'm curious. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with CM Punk coming back? Are you excited for CM Punk coming back? Are you not excited for CM Punk coming back? Let me know in the comments down below. But until then, I will see you guys back here we're not back on this channel here, but on the other audio outlets like Spotify for the Pilot Driver Pulse. Hopefully we'll have more on CM Punk's contract for WWE. How long is it? For how long is the several years? Whether is it 2 years, 3 years? We'll find that out. Hopefully we'll find out if his contract as a performer is part-time or not. But he is back. No more speculation. He is back, and we'll talk more about it on the Pile Driver Pulse. But until then, for here on the YouTube, I will see you guys back here on Monday for Monday Night Raw for what might be the biggest Monday Night Raw in many, many years. I've been Matt Levis. This has been the Miss Wrestling Podcast. We're out.